This guy's good.
Please welcome to the stage, Joe Fernandez.
All right. Yes, all right. Hell yeah. Enough. All right. This is great. This is the first special ever taped at the Chicago Laugh Factory. How about that, huh? And who better to kick it off than a guy no one's ever heard of? Hell yeah, they told Kevin Nealon to fuck off. Chicago Laugh Factory said, Kevin Nealon, how about you suck 2 dicks and call us in the morning? Gotta get a guy who his biggest credit is being on 1 episode of Chicago Med. That's what we want, is a show that isn't funny. Laugh Factory wants to get empty nesters in, so they had to have me. Yeah, man. So this is my second special. How many people saw my first one? Now that's not bad, but let's make it sad. So, how many people here saw my first one that don't know me personally? That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Now, just to be fair, my first special's on Tubi. If you don't know Tubi, it's a streaming service that sucks ass. So it's not my fault that my special wasn't seen. It's the people at Tubi. It's a shitty... Now, I know I shouldn't be shitting on the one place that's streaming it, but I'm gonna. It's a stupid... Also, like, Tubi's a dumb name, like Tubi or not Tubi. It's like, I choose not to be subscribed. Is that... Anyhow. But this is the second special, which means if you didn't see the first one, you may be a little lost. There's a sequel. So there'll be some things you miss, a lot of storylines, you know. I don't know how I feel about you guys. What are you, the type of dipshits that saw Shrek 2 first? Honey, you want to go see Fast and the Furious? No, I'd rather wait till it's too fast, too furious. But you know me, I hate context. But you guys do seem like a fun crowd, so let's talk about Adolf Hitler. Hang on, wait. I think he's a bad guy. What was about to happen just there? That this turned into a really bad meeting. Hang on, wait. Just to make sure, we all think Hitler's a bad guy, right? It feels like the room's split, but okay. It's... All right. I'm glad you said yes. The head for sure is like, yeah, you have to... You got Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago vibes, but I think, yeah, you're good. I guess, I don't know. If you're watching this in the future, that joke is fun now. 20 years down the line, you won't get it, but just trust me, it's good. Given the context of the time. If we're still around, I don't know. Well, Hitler's a bad guy. Sorry to upset half of you. And he wrote a book called Mein Kampf, right? But a lot of people don't know the full name of that book, which is Mein Kampf, Mein Back, Mein Pussy, and Mein Crack. So, it's a hit in the 30s and 40s. It's so fun. Dude, I did a show in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan that was for people who were like all over the age of 70. They did not get that joke. I had to be like, there was a song called My Neck, My Back, My Pussy, My Crack. And they're like, oh, okay. We just thought you were giving us a weird fact. You know? So I had my favorite intro at a show recently. It's where the host actually was here. The host came up and she was hammered. And this is the only thing she said about me. She goes, yeah, your next comic, he looks like a senator. And then that was it. Nothing else, you know? Which I don't know. I don't think I look that much like Elizabeth Warren. But I know what she's saying. I look like a trashy senator, right? Like I look like I have a children's foundation I embezzle money from. Just going home and yelling at my wife like, you can't divorce me in an election year? You know. Meanwhile, I'm behind her back banging interns like, oh, you're blonde and 22? Getting to the office. Just gonna talk about infrastructure and oh, what's this fridge full of Smirnoff Ice doing here? That's weird. You know? Just get drinks with Andrew Cuomo afterward, being like, how'd you trick her? If you guys don't like dark, there's gonna be a rough 45 minutes, so I'd get on board now. People have told me my comedy reminds them of when they saw the trailer for Human Centipede, so. All right, there's my demographic. It's in a flow chart. If you got that reference, you'll enjoy. If not, you will suffer. This will be a rough night for you. I had sex recently, so give it up for that. I fucked. Hell yeah. A week ago to the day. Yeah, man. I've been banging more. It's ruled. But I've earned all of my fucks this past year. Because I had a rough pandemic, because from March of 2020 to March of 2021, I did not have sex. I went 1 year, no fucking. Anyone else? Well, good for you guys. That's awesome. So happy for you. That's sick. Hope you guys got gonorrhea if you didn't get COVID. I spent 1 year not fucking for this country. You all were banging behind Fauci's back. I didn't have sex for a year, so I had to start watching porn, you know. But I don't like watching porn. I'm more of a jack off to memories kind of guy. Some of you may know it as a gentleman. But I ran out of memories. That's how long this took. Like, the spank bank was overdrawn. I was running on fumes. Like I even went back to my first hand job. And then I was like, oh, is this okay? She's 16. It's my brain. It's not a website, so it's fine. Like, didn't traffic her in here. Like, she's okay. Like, didn't call up an Albanian dude being like, I need a fresh one. She's fine. So yeah, I had to start watching porn. But like I said, I don't like watching porn because it's too fake, over the top, not a realistic depiction of sex. And that's why I'm glad porn wasn't more readily available when I was growing up, because I feel like I'd have a warped view of sex. Like a girl come up to me at a bar being like, so, you want to go back to my place? I'd be like, sorry, I can't. You're not my stepmom. I mean, do you know how sex works, you fucking idiot? Because love is between a man and a stepmom or a stepsister. Read the Bible. Marry my dad. Maybe I'll think about it, you hot dipshit. Yeah. I always feel lucky when I have sex, though, you know, because I got low self-esteem. I got body dysmorphic disorder. Do you all know what that is? Yeah. Okay, if you don't know, it's basically just I think I'm ugly, and then people fuck me, and it throws off my worldview. Just having sex with a girl, like, why is she doing this? What's her angle? You know. But body dysmorphic disorder, right? It's the only disorder that when you get diagnosed with it, it's kind of a confidence boost. You're like, oh, I'm not ugly, I'm just demented. This is perfect, I'm shallow, you know? Yeah, so watch out, ladies, because here comes a 7 with the confidence of a 4. You know? I come at a discount. But that's the thing, right? They wouldn't diagnose you with it if you didn't have it, right? Like, you go to your doctor, you're like, I think I got body dysmorphic disorder. And he's like, no, you're fat. No, you have diabetes and a lazy eyes. And this isn't a doctor thing to say, but that bowl cut isn't doing you any favors. So it's like, you know, but body morphia, perfect order. I find you physically unappealing. I would never fuck you. That's my diagnosis. Like, yeah, man. So I was trying to stay in shape during the pandemic. You know, I was doing workouts on YouTube. If you don't know what a YouTube workout is, it's basically just a Peloton for a poor person. It's like, hit the bell and subscribe. It's like, I'll find you when I need you. You know? But I was doing YouTube workouts that were hosted by both men and women, and they couldn't be any more different. Like, you do a YouTube workout hosted by a woman, there's like soothing music. She's gently encouraging, just like, 5 more, you got this. I'm like, oh, Janice. Thank you. Yeah. They do a YouTube workout hosted by a dude, and the music is like, like the Punisher logo goes over a video of a tank blowing up a school in Afghanistan. You're like, and the guy comes on, he's like, you ready to learn how to fight and fuck? No. I'm here for squats, Chaz. Like you could just hear how much they miss high school football. It's like, I used to be a god! Like the level of anger is, have you watched someone you love die up close? Why are you like this? Like, I don't know if it was during war or a frat house hazing gone wrong, but those guys have seen some shit. Because you can hear it between every push-up where they're just like, 3! Jacob was supposed to tell us when he couldn't handle any more shots! 2! I helped bury his body under the frat house. I didn't want to do what they made me. His parents keep asking if I know anything. I don't know how long I can live with the lie. And time. Great work. You know, okay, that'll be the first one. That's fine. First applause break. So I see a therapist, you know. Which is a weird thing to say, though, right? Because there's a stigma around mental health, especially for men. Like, I say I see a therapist, and I can hear some of the men right now judging me, being like, Joe, you see a therapist? What are you, a big, fat, gay pussy? And that's not me talking, that's society. If anything, the men in this room said it, so shame on you. Yeah, man, I see a therapist. The therapist's motto is no judgment. They're not supposed to judge their patients, which is why I like to fuck with my therapist and say a bunch of messed up stuff and see how far he'll go without judging me. Where he's like, Joe, what do you want to talk about today? And I'm like, well, they say Black Lives Matter, but like all of them? He's like, I guess no judgment. Anything else you want to talk about? And I'm like, yeah, is it just me or are kids getting hotter? He's like, no judgment, but I need to make a phone call. Okay. I guess I'll do, so this is gonna be my darkest joke, you know. And I think it's only because I mean what I'm about to say. Normally I'm being ironic and satirical, but this I mean. So if you're dating someone long term, or you're married to them, right, and they get horribly disfigured in an accident, are you allowed to leave them because of that? Yes is the correct answer, 100%. Because whenever people get divorced, what do they say? It's like, oh, they change. And it's like, why is that just for personalities? It's like, yeah, when I met him, he didn't have third-degree burns. Like, look, I'm just saying, there was a woman who was on Oprah. She had her face ripped off by a chimp. Her husband should be allowed to be like, hey, we're friends now. Like, I know we have kids together, but I want to fuck someone with a face. And that's fair. It is totally fair to want to fuck someone with a face. You guys are acting like what I'm saying is unreasonable. I'm sorry, if you were on a dating app and it said face or no preference, what would you hit? God, I hate performing for cowards. Let's just drive this point home further. So, same with women who left their husbands after they got back from war, I'm on their side, all right? It's like, what happened between you and Greg? It's like, hey, change. He's missing an arm, he screams in his sleep. So glad I started banging his brother when he was overseas. That guy's like a pre-war Greg, you know? Okay, now I can hear some of you thinking you're better than what you are, yeah? But just know, if you're sitting there like, oh, I wouldn't leave my partner if they got horribly disfigured, it's like, all right, but you'd want to. So you just wouldn't want to take that PR hit with your friends. That's the only reason, like, you just don't want people talking shit about you at a party. It's not love. Let's just accentuate the point. So are you two dating right here in the front here? You both are? Okay, cool. So he gets into a fire, his face gets melted off. Yeah. And then someone comes by and chops his arms and legs off. And then also the burn marks form in a weird way in his face where it just says, the South will rise again. So when you go to parties, you have to explain to your friends like, hey, he's not pro-Confederacy, those aren't tattoos, he was in a fire. And then your friends are like, why is there a Confederate flag in his nose? You're like, it's another burn mark. And they're like, it's in color, and you're like, it's a weird burn mark. And then also the guy who chopped his arms and legs off, chopped his cock off, and then grafted it to his back. So now when you have sex, you have to look at the back of his head, and you both miss kissing, much less making eye contact. So every time you have sex, you weep softly. And then also at the party, your friends are like, hey, did he take a dump in his pants? You're like, no, his cock's on his back, but I get why it looks like that. So I guess my question is, would you stay with him? Would you stay with him or no? He's begging, which I've never seen that before. That's crazy. Can I tell you what most guys do, by the way? They go, just leave me, kill me, but this guy's desperate. I mean, here, just imagine he's not here, or imagine his face says the South will rise again. One of the two. It's a no, thank you for your honesty. That's all I wanted, some honesty. Although, I did cause a fight in the car ride home, for sure. But that's the right... No, look, ladies, you should not have to stay with a pro-Confederate face poopy cockbutt man. It is 2022. If someone has a pro-Confederate face and a poopy cockbutt, you're allowed to leave. That'd be funny if that was in your vows. You're like, I wouldn't leave you if you had a pro-Confederate face and a vagina on your back, but you said you'd leave me. Dude, my favorite response to that question, one time I asked that and the girl was just like, I don't know, I just dropped him off at a fire station. It's funny because you think the firefighters would be like, yeah, I think I've seen this guy before. Oh, dude, I had a fun experience at the show recently where there were two people sitting in the front, and it was a girl and this dude who, I'll be honest, she was out of the dude's league, you know? Not to be mean or crass about it, but the guy was ugly as fuck and had a terrible body. So I want to see what their relationship was, right? Because maybe they're not dating, you know? Maybe they're brother-sister, attorney-client, who knows? So I asked, I was like, who here's dating? How about you two? You two dating? And then there's just a pause, and then the woman looks at me and she goes, I'm from Slovenia. And I was like, you're a prostitute. Got it. Okay, cool. Yep. You're a hot Eastern European chick with a fat dude and you don't speak English? That's the plot to Taken 2. Like... Okay. So I'm from Houston originally. You know, that's where I grew up, so I'm a Houston sports fan. But it sucks being a Houston sports fan, because anytime something goes wrong with the Houston sports team, it's always the same headline. It's, Houston, we have a problem. It's like, dude, Apollo 13, that happened in 1970. Like, your headline has a problem. Like, that's not fair, right? You can't take the biggest mess up in a city's history and then just keep using it against them. Like, they don't do that to Dallas. It's never like, the Dallas Cowboys lost Dak Prescott for the year. The president has been shot. They lost Kennedy. That should stick with them forever. It's like, Luka Doncic is 0 for 7 from the field. Where's a second shooter when you need it? He hits it all the way from the grassy knoll. Corey Seager hits one deep to left field. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Some of you groaned. Too soon for Kennedy? What? Did you not have enough time since 20 years before you were born to get over it? Won't make any Archduke Franz Ferdinand jokes either. So, miss him every day, you know. Also, Kennedy, like, used to share underage women with his dad, so he wasn't a great guy. So if you take anything away from my set, it's that Kennedy got what he deserved. That's right, I'm so deep in the Me Too movement, I think Kennedy should have gotten his head blown off. That's where I'm at, you know? Is it 1964? What happened in here that... Look, also, Ted Kennedy let a woman drown at the bottom of the Chappaquiddick, so the more Kennedys that are dead, the safer women are. That's all I'm saying. Is it a family reunion for the Kennedys? What? Trust me that they didn't care about you. So, does someone say I'm not wrong? I like that response. From now on, just concur with me. I don't want laughter. I just want soft agreement. Yeah, because I'm from Houston, I'm an Astros fan. It's not a good time for that. For those who don't know, my hometown baseball team, the Astros, they got caught cheating in the year 2017, the year they won the World Series. And some people have said that because of that, they should be stripped of their World Series title. And here's what I'll say, is that yes, they cheated, yes, it was wrong, but also it was the year Hurricane Harvey hit. Let us keep it. Like, kind of a rough year. Like, Houstonians, we lost so much that year. Like, me personally, my elementary school I grew up going to got wiped out. It's no longer there. All right? It was destroyed by the wrath of God because we legalized gay marriage. So let us keep the title. I don't know, I just think if a tragedy hits a city, right? The sports team should be allowed to do whatever it wants to win. Like if I were Drew Brees in charge of New Orleans Saints after Hurricane Katrina, I'd have brought that shit up at the line of scrimmage. They're just going up there being like, Blue 45! Blue 45, don't tackle me! The city really needs this! Red 80! Red 80! People don't know where their family members are! If you have information regarding their whereabouts, please contact us! And then the defense is like, well, I was gonna blitz. Now I guess I'll just let him in, like a kid with a disability at a high school football game, just like, yeah, got it! You know? The score's 78-2, you really earned that. Have you guys ever seen where I'm talking about? We're at a high school football game, right? They'll put a kid in with a disability to score a touchdown as like an inspirational moment, right? Now here's my question. Can you do that when you're only down 4 points? And then force the defense to make that decision, just like, no, that's not fair. You can't put him in now, it's close. That's not fair, no. Come on, you can go. Dude, I really want to win state, but am I going to tackle a kid with cerebral palsy to do it? I don't know. Because otherwise, great way to make a comeback. You're down 35-0, just like, where's that kid with autism? Get him in! This kid needs 6 inspirational moments right now. And then the other coach is like, how about just 5 so we're tied? And he's like, nope, he's had a rough life. This kid wants an inspirational moment for every disease he has. He's got Lou Gehrig's autism. He's an alcoholic. Dude, one time I told that joke, and there was a dude in the back of the room who, after I joked about tackling a kid with cerebral palsy, he went, yeah, you should stick him. And I was like, tackle him? I was joking. Why? And he's like, he needs to learn life isn't easy. And I was like, I think he knows. Taught that by cerebral palsy, you know? Like, people with cerebral palsy, they aren't kicking back like, oh, this is the life. Struggling to get places on time, finding a sense of irony in my New Balance shoes. Hang on, it's okay, I can say that. I don't care. I don't even know anyone with cerebral palsy, so it doesn't bother me. All right. Let's see. I'm a big baseball fan. I like going to ball games, you know. One thing I want to see when I go to a baseball game, though, more than a walk-off home run, more than a no-hitter, is someone proposing to their girlfriend on the Diamond Vision, right? Because nothing says I love you like cornering someone into it in front of 40,000 people. Like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could use the Diamond Vision to guilt people into saying yes to stuff. Like, now that I know that, next time I go to a ball game, I'm bringing a buddy of mine, just like, Dave, if you look to the Diamond Vision, Joe would like to know, will you give him a ride to the airport this weekend? And then everyone's like, come on, do it, don't be an ice princess, you know? And also, we can all agree it'd be fun to go to a ball game where a girl says no to the proposal, right? Like, just to hear the PA announcer have to recover from that. Like, it's like Chelsea, if you look at the Diamond Vision, Ryan would like to know, will you marry him? Okay, and it looks like she's crying, but they are not tears of joy. Okay, come on, Ryan. Got a lot of kids at the ball game. Don't need them finding out true love is a myth at the age of 8. And it looks like Ryan brought something up from the past she did not want to discuss. And she slapped him. She slapped him. She's going up the aisle. Wait, she's coming back. She forgot her popcorn. She forgot her popcorn. Well, fans, don't forget tomorrow's free bobblehead night. First 10,000 fans from the gate get a bobblehead of that girl saying no. Just... I don't, look, that was the saddest applause break I've ever gotten. It was one dude, 2 claps. No, hang on, I wasn't going for that either. Oh, great. Now, we're gonna cut the part where you guys pity clapped me for sure. That is not going on the special, for Christ's sake. One sport I don't fuck with anymore, fantasy football. I'm 6 years clean. That you can clap for. Every year, it's hard to resist a draft. I have to call my sponsor. Yeah, man, fantasy football I don't fuck with anymore because it takes over your life. Like, every day, you check on the health of a person you don't know that lives 2,000 miles away. Like, every day I was on my computer like, oh, how's Peyton Manning's shoulder doing? In the meantime, my aunt with emphysema I haven't talked to in 3 years. But I gotta know how a stranger in Denver's shoulder is. Can he go Sunday? Like, my mom calls me up. She's like, Joe, your aunt's questionable to make it through the night. Oh, yeah? Well, Peyton Manning's questionable for Sunday. You know? Gotta find a backup now. I can't be dealing with this stuff. I want Team Donkey Punch Poopy Butt Fart to make the championship. I did win that year with Team Donkey Punch Poopy Butt Fart, though. The year I got last place was when I had team named Pro Confederate Poopy Cock Butt Man, so. Yeah, man, I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at me. I don't play professional football. I think it's because I'm not fast, I'm not strong. I think there should be consequences for sexually abusing a woman. That's why I didn't get drafted. Ran the 40 in 10 seconds, then I whipped my cock out in front of a masseuse and thought I should be held accountable. So, I killed the Wonderlick but thought I should be held accountable. If you don't know, that joke's based on Deshaun Watson. He's a football player who got suspended 11 games for sexually abusing over 20 women, but I think that punishment was wrong. He shouldn't have been suspended. Because playing football, that's the punishment. Like, That sport's killing him. Like every time he's a quarterback, every time he gets hit, he gets a step closer to death and forgetting who his closest friends are. That's the punishment. Like, I'm just saying, okay, if a football player gets caught sexually abusing a woman in the NFL, they should have to play extra games. It's like Deshaun Watson, 11-game addition for violating our sexual abuse policy. Like, you like creeping out masseuses? We'll see how much you like it when you can't remember your daughter's name. And now I don't know what to feel bad for. The world's a weird place, right? Comedy's all about making a point without being funny, so I did a good job. Comedy's all about getting people to clap without being entertained, so that's where I'm at right now. It's just trying to... If you want to be a good comic, you gotta have easily agreeable viewpoints that you think are brave but aren't funny. So the world... Anyone watching the World Cup at all? Okay, a simple clap would have sufficed, but all right. There's one guy who's really... A guy got hard over there. Sucker! Yeah, man, it's in Qatar, which people thought was controversial. I think it's a good idea to prep for when climate change hits hard, so it's smart. Like, let's see if these guys can handle 130-degree heat. We need to know in 50 years, you know? Have you guys played that new video game, though? Qatar Hero? It's basically where you just reunite a migrant worker with their families. You did it! Vishal saw his kids again. You know? If you don't get that, by the way, Qatar, very controversial because they have a bad gay rights record. And also, it's weird to say, a World Cup just built on death. Like, 6,000 migrant workers died building those stadiums, which is why I think they need to bring that up during every broadcast, even if it's in a fun way where it's just like, Adams passes over to Robinson right where a Nepalese man died of heat exhaustion. And he kicks and he scores a goal and he celebrates like a homosexual with equal rights. Germany completely upset the same way a Bangladeshi woman's upset she'll never see her husband again. Now, this part of the joke hasn't been working at all, but let's do it anyway. So here's the thing. In Qatar, it's weird because it says homosexual activity punishable by up to 3 years in jail, which I was like, is there varying degrees? Like third-degree homosexuality where it's like, oh, just hand job? All right, that's 1 year in probation. Can have a parole officer check in, make sure you're not blowing anyone, you know. But I just don't know how you get caught. Like, cops knocking on doors, like, what seems to be the problem, officer? It's like, well, we thought we heard the sounds of ass fucking. Just wanted to see if we could take a look around. It's like, not in here. It's like, I'm pretty sure we heard testicles slapping up against butt cheeks. Not you? All right, so that worked that time. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got my set list down here. This isn't extemporaneous. I didn't want to fuck this up. Look, this is a special. I can edit it. This is what I'm gonna do. Ready? Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. You know what I was thinking about recently? No, okay. I've been driving around doing shows in the Midwest. And I just stop at a gas station bathroom, though, which I don't know if anyone's been in a gas station bathroom recently, but it's just like, are you trying to make this look like a crime scene? What happened? It's like, I'm rooting for climate change after what I saw. We deserve death. Like, how do you miss the toilet when you're pooping? It's just like, let me see. Does it go in the hole or on the wall? There's no instructions. I guess I'll just leave it on the ground like an orphan at a fire station. People shit in gas station bathrooms like they're protesting the oil industry. Just like, ah, yeah! There we go! Clean it up, BP! Same way you should have cleaned up that oil spill that cost me my shrimping business. And there's too much road rage. That's why I don't like going on the road, driving and stuff, you know? Because people, they use their car horns, but they use it for the wrong reason. It's always out of anger, where it's just like, God, I hate you! I wish ill will upon your family, you know? But that's not the real reason for a car horn, right? The real reason for a car horn is to be like, hey, fair warning, you're coming in my lane. All right, want to let you know, have a good one. So I need to change the sound of a car horn to something more adorable, you know, like a cat's meow. Because then people wouldn't be so upset, be like, God, I can't believe that guy just cut me off. Meow. Well, sweet, now I just want to go home and hold my kids. And not take an angry shit in a gas station bathroom. That's right, I do my callbacks one joke in. I'm changing the motherfucking game, baby. Fuck Fuck you, Arrested Development. Mitchell Hurwitz, you cuck. Yeah, man. But like I said, I've been driving around the Midwest, and whenever you drive around the Midwest, you always see a lot of Christian billboards that just say, Jesus saves. You know? Like, just once I want to see a Jewish billboard that just says, Jesus had it coming. And he did. You run your mouth too much of the Sermon on the Mount, the Jews will take you out. Jews, or as I call them, the Sopranos of the Middle East. That joke was written by Kanye West. So. Yeah, man. Also, I don't feel sorry for Jesus, just so you guys know. It's a weird thing to say, but first of all, 2,000 years, not too soon. But he lived such a good life. He lived to the age of 33 in the year 0. That's 6 more years than Jimi Hendrix got. And I prefer Hendrix. Like, Purple Haze is better than the New Testament. It's shorter, it doesn't make me feel guilty for fucking. It doesn't terrify me when I'm high, like. No one hit me as a kid while I was listening to it, like everything, it's, you know. Jesus was black, by the way, did you guys know that? Yeah. Also, I found out recently that Beethoven was black. I think the craziest one, though, Frederick Douglass, Asian. Frederick Douglass was a tiny Korean woman. And Harriet Tubman was a 6'7" Pakistani guy. But no one wants to talk about that. You guys just want to know who was black. Now, I'm going to do this joke, even though I guarantee it'll hit with 10% of the people, but okay. So Jewish people, if you don't know, they were framed for the murder of Jesus. And Jesus wasn't crucified, he was shot. And what happened was, it was the Sermon on the Mount, and Jesus was like, the meek shall inherit the earth. Can you dig it? And then he got shot. The guy was like, it was the Jews. And then the Jews had to fight their way back to Coney Island. It was crazy. All right. So if you haven't seen The Warriors, don't worry. That's why you didn't get it. I know I shouldn't make jokes that it depends on if you've seen a very niche 70s film, but, you know, the first show went great, so I thought I'd try it. Yeah. I did a show at a gay bar recently, you know. And I have a buddy who's like super homophobic. He's not homophobic like, I hate gays. He's homophobic like, I'm not gay. Kissed a guy once, doesn't count, but I'm scared that I liked it. Like that kind of homophobic. Right? And he called me up, he's like, Joe, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, oh, I'm doing the show at Berlin. You guys should come. And he goes, whoa, Berlin. I mean, not to be weird, but you know who goes there, right? Like, I don't care, but you know who goes there, right? Like, I'm not trying to be weird, but you know who goes there, right? It's kind of like, you know, this place, like, you know, it's like a gay bar. And I was like, yeah, but you're still straight when you go in. Nothing changed. It's not a portal. Like, it's not like you go in there, they're gonna be like, ID. All right, now fuck this guy. Back up. Only way you're getting in here is if you fuck this guy. And have a talk with your parents and hope they're open-minded, you know? There's no cover. Okay, you know what I like about telling that joke? Is that in that fictional universe I created, there is a dude who his full-time job is just get fucked in the ass when he wants to get into the bar. He goes home to his wife, just like, another rough night at work, getting fucked in the ass. Why'd I leave law school? You know? Turns to the bouncer being like, can we switch shifts? And the bouncer's like, nah, I gotta work your way up from guy who gets fucked in the ass to bouncers. I worked that job in the 80s when it was scary. Magic Johnson was a regular. You think that was easy for me? I have to sleep on my stomach now. All right, it's debatable if that one will stay. Yeah, man. I was doing one of those internet searches though, where I found this out, that up until 2006, there were 14 U.S. states where sodomy was illegal. Sodomy, by the way, that's fancy doctor talk for ass fucking. And I thought it was interesting, but I know it's supposed to be anti-gay legislation, but it's like, all right, but you know straight people do this too. Like, everyone's tried it once. Like, butt sex is like licorice. You try it and you're like, oh, that was weird. Prefer regular candy. Heard so much about it, I had to give it a shot, you know? I honestly think licorice is a great way to tell someone's sexual proclivities. Because it's like this gross, fucked up thing that some people are really into. Like you see a guy in the street with a bag of licorice, it's like, that guy's into butt fucking and a bunch of other weird stuff. He has to wear a goat mask when he does it. The worst part about telling that joke, my mom likes licorice. I guess my mom likes getting fucked in the ass, is what I'm saying. So if there's two things you take away from my set, it's that Kennedy got what he deserved and my mom likes getting fucked in the ass. Those are the two things you take with you tonight when you leave. Now, like I said, I was driving around the Midwest, and I was doing shows in small towns, right? And small town people, they can never understand why you live in a big city. They're like, I live in a big city, a lot of crime. And I'm like, yeah, but at least our crimes sometimes get solved. Like, small town crimes don't get solved, they become podcasts. Like, small town crimes don't get solved, especially because half the time the cops know the guy who did it. Like, I'm not gonna arrest Brian, he's my brother. Oh, this woman committed suicide by coming on herself and slitting her throat. Open and shut case. It's pretty clear what happened here. This woman slapped some jizz on her stomach and cut her head off. It's pretty tragic. The 11th woman this month to do it. On a side note, it's illegal to make documentaries here. Do we fuck with serial killers in this bitch? Who's a fan? Hell yeah. Or as I call them, the heroes of Netflix. Tragedies for some families? Hey, content for the rest of us. Thank you for your sacrifice, people who suffered unimaginable pain that we take naps to. All right, for those who are laughing, thank you for your honesty. And for those who aren't laughing, I'm sorry you're a coward. You know you've done it, and you're probably the same type of loser who wouldn't leave your significant other if they got horribly disfigured. Now, I was watching that Gacy documentary on Netflix, which I found myself laughing during it a little bit. But here's why, because John Wayne Gacy has this, thick Chicago accent, so it sounds like one of the super fans talking about murder, where he's like, yeah, I buried 33 kids in my basement, the bears. Like, how can I take this seriously now? John, how'd you do it? He's like, well, I picked my victim up underneath 9094. We start going towards this place. And it's rush hour, so traffic's a fucking nightmare. It's all this goddamn construction. What are these Democrats doing with their thumbs up their asses? And they're like, John, why'd you do it? And he's like, these kids are putting ketchup on their hot dogs. One of them said thin crust is better than deep dish. What am I, not gonna ass fucking to death? Come on. Maybe a serial killer, but I'm not fucking gay. Serial killers are fascinating. They don't have funerals, which makes sense. Like, how can you get a pallbearer for John Wayne Gacy? You have to hire a moving company. Because who wants to admit they knew him? Just like, hey, doing a funeral for Gacy this weekend. You knew him, right? Oh, not well. Like, we went to the same clown college, but we took different paths, Like, how do you give a eulogy for Jeffrey Dahmer? Just go up there like, Jeff, he was always a good guy. To me? He never fucked my dead body after eating it. Let me see, he was good at darts. Great chef, we know that. Look, I don't know. I met the guy in a bar crawl. I didn't realize he was on the prowl. It's not my fault. Like, how do you say as a parent to eulogize your kid in that situation, right? Like, you must just go up there being like, good. Our bad. And we thought locking him in a closet 18 hours a day was tough love. Turns out it fucked with his head. We only brought him out to molest him. We thought it'd make him an engineer, I do like that. Most of you are okay with dark, but the ones who don't like dark, I do understand it, but also know dark comedy's for fun people. That's all I'm saying. If you don't like... I'll just say, look, if you don't like dark comedy, it's fine, but it's also why you don't get invited to parties. Like on Super Bowl Sunday, when you're texting, like, anyone doing anything? They're like, oh, I'll let you know if we find anything. They're all at the thing, they just don't want you there. So that's what's happening. It's okay to be fun sometimes. Yeah, man. So I don't really, let me talk about this, I guess. So my friend had a wedding this past summer, and here's the thing I didn't like about the wedding, is that his dad knew I did stand-up, and then reacted in the most dad way possible to knowing someone does stand-up. He told me the same joke 3 times. The same joke 3 times. He comes to me, he goes, Joe, you do stand-up? Oh, I've got such a, this is so funny. So, horse walks into a bar, and then the bartender says, why the long face? I'll see you later. And then he walks off like that's normal. And the other thing is that didn't tell me that joke once, told to me 3 times. I don't know if you guys know how comedy works, but the element of surprise, huge. A joke is not like a David Lynch film where you see it for the 5th time, you're like, oh, now I get it. You know? So by the 3rd time he told me that joke, he's like, I'm sorry. That's just something my golf buddy says every time we finish a round of golf, and I'm like, well, kill him. He's a bad person. And also by the 3rd time he told me that joke, I was so annoyed, I decided to annoy and offend him back. I'm like, you know, I got a variation of that joke. And he goes, oh, really? What is it? And I was like, well, some whores walk into a bar. Bartender says, why the long face? And they go, well, we're sex slaves. That's the reason for the long face. We're forced to fuck people against our will. And the money goes to the man who kidnapped us. I'm from Slovenia. And now I'm sitting with a fat guy at the Laugh Factory. I miss my family. And these scars will last a lifetime. He's like, I don't know if my golf buddy will like that. It's too dark for Brian. But I did go to a bachelor party for my buddy, and it was at Whirly Ball, which was super fun. I don't know if you guys know. If you don't know Whirly Ball, it's just lacrosse and bumper cars. It's very fun. But we had this like 20-something-year-old kid giving us the rundown of the rules and the regulations. And the final safety rule he gave us, he goes, yeah, you know, since in bumper cars you can't play if you have neck or back issues. And I was like, well, what if you have pussy or crack issues? I love that song. That should be the new national anthem. No one would kneel during it. So the only problem, though, is that this kid thought he could play along, and he waited way too long to do this. We're like walking over bumper cars. He goes, hey, guys, only problem I have with pussy is that there isn't one on my face right now. Like, you need to go. Like, you said that to customers. Like, it's crazy. You need to speak to your managers. You made me feel gross. That's crazy. So I don't fuck with superhero movies or comic books, you know. I think I don't like superhero movies because it's always the same storyline. Like people that get their superpowers through radiation. I think it's a good thing people don't get their superpowers through radiation in real life because if they did, then Japan would have won World War II. Hands down, wouldn't have been close. Like, then he got to Truman, he's like, hey, how'd the bombing of Hiroshima go? They're like, started fine. It's now an entire country of Incredible Hulks, you know. But the Japanese Incredible Hulk's like average sized over here. He's like 5'10", 180, so. Cool. Does anyone here believe in ghosts? Yeah. Okay. I don't. I think it's stupid and it sucks. But I like going on ghost tours, right? Although I found this out, that American ghost tours, they're like fun and silly, but Europeans, they take their ghost tours seriously. Like I went on a ghost tour of this one place, Auschwitz. Oh. So you guys have heard the story. It is the saddest story I've ever heard. I was like, this isn't fun at all. Like, and initially I was excited. I walked in, I was like, ooh, I wonder what happened in here. And then by the end I was crying. I was like, why are there so many ghosts? You know? Fortunately, there was a guy there that chilled me out. He leaned in, he goes, don't worry, it's all just a myth. He turned me onto a podcast called InfoWars. I learned so much. Other urban legends and myths, like the man with the hook and Sandy Hook, you know, stuff that never happened. It's just... That joke was written by Kyrie Irving. So, trust me, in the future, that reference was fun now. All right, let's end a little bit easier. Abortion? Finally, the male perspective. Our voices have been in the shadows for a bit too long. It's a divisive issue, you know? And some people on the right, they think that aborted fetuses are people, right? And I don't know if that's true, but if they are people, then heaven is gross. It's gotta be like gum on the sidewalk, like, watch your step, Charlemagne, it's... Now, a lot of people don't care for that joke, yeah? But keep in mind, if that's how it works, it's true. Like, it's not like they go up there like, hey, I would have been Dan. I think cool. I'll just skip that one and just do the last two. All right. So my last name's Fernandez. You know, I'm half Cuban, half Irish. Cubish. It's always nice being mixed race, you know. No matter who I'm dating, I'm always in an interracial relationship, so I seem progressive, you know. It's like, I'm having sex with you, it's a white chick banging a Latino dude. If I'm having sex with you, I'm gay. Interracial. So I'm woke. And you guys know what woke means, right? It's when you're not racist, but you're pretentious about it. It's kind of like a vegan for social justice. Just... How are you annoying me while I agree with you? Like, you nearly cost us the election, you know? But I'm woke, and I like to see how woke my audience members are, so I'd like to do a woke test. First, clap if you have a dad. Who's got a dad? Yeah? Do you want to take my woke test? I bet you pass. All right, here it is. So basically, here's the woke test. Now, if your dad were gay and my dad were gay, would you let him hook up? Normally, people pass the woke test off the bat. This guy wasn't sure. Can I ask, what were the thoughts that are holding you up from just letting them fuck, or? Okay, this is what's called a hypothetical. He goes, well, my dad's married to a woman and he's not gay. Yeah, I know, we sometimes... How was the show last night? Well, the comedian exaggerated for effect, so... I didn't understand. He was stretching the truth for humor and it didn't make sense to me. So, just to say, yeah, yes, you would? Okay, cool. Give him a round of applause. It took a while, but give him a round of applause. Okay. Now, what if the only way they could hook up is if you were watching them have sex? No? Homophobe. Westboro Baptist Church is that way, turd fuckers. It's 2022. It's about time we start watching our dads have sex. Get woke. The last thing I'll say, I was driving in a car, car had a bumper sticker on it that said, my child is an honor student at such and such elementary. It's like, well, that's great for your kid. Doesn't give you the right to make the car ride behind you awkward for the dumb kid and his disappointed parent. It's just driving like... Oh, look. His son's smart. The PTA conference, they gave him a bumper sticker. You know what I got? A stern lecture about how I need to get more involved in your life. Come on, Dad, I'm trying. No, you're not. Let's start about third grade. Spelling test, please. You're not dyslexic. You are such a disappointment. I don't know what made me think the circus would be a good idea today. We're turning around. Come on, Dad, you're being crazy. Oh, you may be right. I may be crazy. And it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Name the reference. You can't, because you're stupid. It's Billy Joel, Glass Houses. By the way, I wanted that CD for Father's Day, and what'd you get me? A sheet of paper with macaroni pasted to it that said, I love you, Daddy. I can't listen to that on my commute to work. Raising you has been stressing me out, and it's giving me a heart attack, to get out of the car. Okay, I feel better. You guys, you have been fucking awesome. I'd like to do one last thing before we go. This has been so fun, and I'm realizing this is gonna make it a little sad, but it'll still be fun. So there's a comedian, her name was Samantha Berkman. We're gonna be handing out lyrics to you guys right now. Clap if you knew Samantha Berkman. Such a funny, silly person. Like one of the funniest people ever, and she tragically passed away last year, so what I'd like to do is a tribute to her at the end of this special. And her and I used to send dumb, really gross parody songs to each other back and forth. So I'd like you guys to sing along with me to her parody song she sent me. It's to New Found Glory. How many are familiar with New Found Glory? Yeah. Okay, and if you don't know, we're gonna play her version first, and then you guys are gonna sing with me. And if you don't sing, keep in mind this person died at the age of 31 from cancer. So if you don't sing, you will burn in hell forever. All right, so here we are, we're handing out this. Let's play her version first, Chris.
From my butthole to the balls is becoming too intimate for me. But I didn't mean to prove out piss, and it's alright to pretend that I'm not sick. It's just for show. That's my piss in my butt coming from my fart. Just maybe I leave this in the place where I grew. Here's my song. You were everything I wanted, but I just went pee-pee where I farted. There's something left here on my back. It exploded from my hole. Though you swear that it was cool, I still go.
And then it was only 1 minute on the message, so it had to cut off on Facebook. But she would have gone further. So now you guys are going to sing that song. Keep in mind we're filming. So if you don't sing, I will know who you are. So ready? Here we go. We all got sheets, we got lyrics. If not, oh. Hopefully you guys have a good memory then. For those who do, here we go. You guys were an awesome crowd. Thank you so much.